I was born in Caracas, Venezuela. I came to the US with my mom. I had quit my job in Venezuela to dedicate my life fully to acting and music, and I came over to visit my sister who was working and studying in Florida. And when I got there were floods in my country, and I was supposed to go back, and I couldn't because there was a flood. No, but I was young and beautiful. I stayed over for like a month or so while I was there to study while the floods and the airport was being reopened in Venezuela. And then my sister decided with her boyfriend to move to California, and they asked me for my help. So I decided to, like, oh, let me try and stay to see what happens, because if I'm in LA, that's the mecca of music and acting. My aunt and my uncle were actors. They worked in kind of the equivalent of SNL and Matt TV in Venezuela, and they were in tons of movies and TV shows and things like that. So, so just seeing them and like being exposed to the theater there, because they ran a theater over there, and my sister and I used to be in plays and act with them, and my parents were in the advertising industry, so I was always exposed to the camera. There was always a set happening in my house. My mom is in Santa Monica, and my dad is in Venezuela. My mom was born Italian Venezuelan, born and raised in Venezuela, and when she was about 19 years old, she married an American citizen, a guy from Manhattan. She lived in Manhattan for about 10-12 years, so she got her citizenship when she was in her 20s, and then she moved back to Venezuela, married my dad, and they did marry in New York, but they moved back to Venezuela and lived there, and my dad is fully Venezuelan. My dad is still in Venezuela. He used to run an advertising agency that closed during Chavez times. However, he does not blame Chavez for it. I came on an I-94 visa, I believe. That's the traveling tourist visa, yes. I did not expect to stay at all. The visa did not expire because we started the process for my citizenship through my mom before I think I came on in December, and it was in March when I decided that I wanted to stay. I think my visa was 6 months. So it was in March when I started the process. So another interesting part of the story is that my mom had to give up after like about 20 years or so of being an American. She had to give up her citizenship. She was working in an American corporation. She was being paid as a foreigner, and they threatened her, telling her if she didn't become a Venezuelan citizen, that they pretty much were gonna have to fire her. Like, they didn't have enough space for the foreigners they need to bring, and there was no need to have a local as a foreigner. So my mom freaked out, being a single mom. She divorced from my dad, and she was just fully supporting us. And she wrote a beautiful letter to the United States government saying, like, with all my heart, this has been my country, I love it, I don't want to do this. She had to quit. And that became a whole process, because what the lawyer was hinting at is, like, you were born from an American mom. Your mom was an American when you were born. So yes, we have to build up a case to prove the American government that my mom had to quit her citizenship, not because she wanted to, but because she had to. She was forced by the circumstances and her employers, and then we were lawful American citizens. My sister, her name is Irma Perez, known in America as Gabby Perez. When she got her citizenship, she finally, after years of, sending back and forth papers, she was granted her passport as an American citizen, daughter of an American citizen. So, and she was able to find work without a problem, and life became a lot easier. Same for me, because I was at the radio station, and if something were to happen, the radio station, I told them, because like, I'm in this process, and then it's like, it's okay, we can find you the H1 visa. But I have to say that because we were very lucky. Like, we had a mom that provided us with an education, and the fact that we are both college graduates that have been working since we were 15 years old, so we have a resume of experience, we have work ethics. So the fact that you come here with knowledge and with the awareness that you can talk to a lawyer and you know, they could help you out, like, to know what are your resources, the kind of resources that you count with, and that you can ask people, and to know that I'm sure there's got to be, if not free, a very affordable lawyer that can at least hint you in a direction of where you need to go. I feel very fortunate and privileged that we have that background, because I know there's a lot of people that come here and they're totally lost. They don't know where to go. They don't know what the resources are. And there are resources out there. It's just you need to know where they are and who to ask. At the time we were waiting to hear from the Miami lawyer, it's been like a few months and like no emails, no phone, no phone call back. And we're like really, really scared. And I said, that's it. We're getting on a plane and we're going to Miami. Sorry. I actually had to go to Miami for work. I go to the office. That was kind of like a fancy office in like Miami Beach. And there's a for lease sign. And there's nothing in the office. There's like no chairs, just like a few papers in like an empty place. Well, my mom and I freaked out. It's like, what the hell? Where's my money? Because like that's pretty much, we were spending pretty much at this point the savings to travel to Miami to do this, because I had to stay in a hotel, like all the expenses that you know that you incur when you have to travel. And then this guy disappeared with our passports, with our money. And like, what do? You're an illegal citizen and you don't have, you know, thank God, like we had friends just like, no, you gotta go to the police and report that your passport was stolen. And like, well, we did all that, and then immediately a friend of mine just told me, it's like, go look at this lawyer, like he's gonna help you with your case. So we went to 2 other different lawyers, but at this point we're like even scared of lawyers because an official lawyer stole all our stuff. Like, we reported him. They did something called a FOIA, which is a Freedom of Information Act, to see what has happened in case that passport has been used, like to commit a crime or to leave the country or whatever. Fortunately, nothing happened with our passports. And that's when we learned that we can, his original idea of the lawyer that stole everything, which was, your mom is an American citizen, therefore you should be an American citizen too, because you were born from an American citizen. He was right, only this person didn't have a passport to steal. So, but we put up a case, and it took about, I would say, probably 2 years or so to put the whole case together. So in the meantime, we were in the process, so we were lawfully here. My sister, I think there was a time where she lost her H1 position, and she took some time to introduce the papers as we did, because she was okay with having her H1 visa, so she wasn't freaking out as much as we did. I feel really blessed that my experience was seamless in a way, that it was, I mean, it was hard. It was, you know, a lot of stress and trying to find like one piece of paper of evidence, because they need to know, can we find something from 1964, but the time where my mom was living in the US, and you know, how do you find like a utility bill from that, you know, far. But in the long run, like with the help of family, with the help of friends and people, like, you know, writing affidavits saying, it's like, yeah, she was my neighbor. It was like this person, and all the family looking for, like, I have a letter where you have this receipt, and that helped a lot. And again, I feel really, really blessed of being in this country while my country is going through all this. And I've never felt 100% Venezuelan, to be honest with you, because, you know, we're Italian Venezuelan, and my mom really aligned herself with the Italian culture. Like, she identifies with it. And I was raised with English and Italian, so sometimes growing up it would be like, you know, I would throw a word in Italian or a word in English, and people are like, what's wrong with you? We didn't dance salsa. I think I learned how to dance salsa when I was 15. Like, I felt different. So when I came to America, I felt I was home. Like America is home because everyone's different and everyone feels like an outsider here. Because yeah, I'm a mud, like half Irish, half New Zealander, half whatever. You know, everyone is from somewhere else, but then you find yourself here. And I'm very lucky. LA is a town of amazing, talented people. So you surround yourself by people that have all sorts of talents, and you get inspired by their successes and also by their failures. You're like, okay, learn not to do that one. So I feel very blessed that I get to do what I love, that I get to experiment and help others the way people helped me when I was here.